points, a couple for Josh Majette as well. He's been so important for them all season as their floor general, making good decisions as Yudai Baba checks in. Of course, he was a bit of a finals hero for Melbourne United last year.
Ranked second in the competition for first quarter points, Melbourne, at 23. They're leading by 3 at the moment. Down to Hook Porty. Size advantage over Bairstow. Couldn't finish.
Well defended by Bairstow. Might have got away with a little bit of shuffling of the feet as well.
Majette gave up his look for Bairstow, who drew contact from Peatley.
Bit of miscommunication there. Josh Majette teed off from 3. Ain't the right play to Jared Bairstow. Peatley comes across and makes sure he doesn't get anything easy.
Just dropped the hands at the last moment. Peatley picks up that foul. Beautiful drop-off pass from Majette.
Mason Peatley comes out of the game. Let's get courtside to Jenny Screen.
Gentlemen, we spoke about at the start of the game, the backcourt presence of Melbourne United. Their rotations have been quick and fast in this first quarter. Delhi's back in after a short break. Illy's out again. We've had Baba inject in as well. So you can see they want to focus on Adams and Majette and make sure every catch they get is so hard. And right now, they're working for all of those catches. I don't know if you can pick it up on the TV, but from where I stand, every catch is a difficult one right now.
Thank you, Jen. Two-time Olympian Jenny Screen. Courtside with us tonight alongside Matty Garrick and Jock Landale. As Melbourne turn to their veterans, Dave Barlow and Brad Newley into the game. Barlow, first back from concussion. His first look is short. Now Clint Steindl, the Tasmanian captain, has McIntosh open on the perimeter. That's deep.
It's going to be an offensive foul. Hook Porty. Cleaned up. Kyle McIntosh just jumped in front of the big fella running the lane. Let's have another look. Don't often like to see that if the big's not paying attention, and Hook Porty tried to get out of the way, but McIntosh just stayed still and got cleaned up. It's the right call. We see it so often. How's this bringing the ball up and defending from Hook Porty?
Steindl works together with McIntosh. Little two-man game as he muscles into the paint. And he's on the free throw.
And that's more like it from Kyle McIntosh. Teed up from long range early in the shot clock. The previous possession, just 24% from 3 on the season. That's where he's at his best. Put it on the deck, use your strength, that quick first step that you have, and just gets himself to the free throw line.
Should be coming into this series very confident, McIntosh. I mean, the back half of this year was night and day from where he started, but what turned his entire season around, besides a conversation with Scott Roth, was on this floor against Melbourne United. Had 16 points. He only had 1 double-digit scoring in about the 10 or 11 games prior to that. And then after that, it just seemed to build him with confidence. And since then, we know he had 20 points in the final game of the season against Melbourne United. So he should be feeling very good coming into this.
And this is the second. Rebound by Luala Chul. 3rd in the MVP voting. Speaking of voting, there's Dean Vickerman, the runner-up in this year's Coach of the Year. Previous winner in seasons 18 and 19. Melbourne lead by 1. Inside 90 seconds before quarter time. Dellavedova turns and scores.
He's having a nice first quarter. Look good, feel good, play good. He's got the fresh cut. The teeth are feeling all pretty good after last week. He's off to a fast start.
Bubba got a hand on that and forced it onto the hand of Clint Steindl. Melbourne get the ball back.
You mentioned Liam, Bubba last season in the finals had 15 points in the second game against Perth over in RSC Arena, but he's a guy that if there's any flat spots in the energy from Melbourne United, Dean Vickerman's going to throw him out there. The fans get involved. They love what he does, and he makes plays like that.
Tasmania haven't made a field goal since Jack McVeigh sat down. Their last field goal was at 5:44 remaining. Bubba from outside.
Well, that's big. The three-point shooting from Melbourne in this fourth quarter. That's their fourth triple of the term.
Daniel no good. 5-second differential between game and shot clock. Dellavedova guarded by McIntosh.
Dean Vickman yelling a long one, trying to get that shot clock right down.
Goes to work. It's the one leg. It's time for Tasmania. 5 seconds. McIntosh from outside, a rainmaker. Doesn't go. At quarter time at John Cain Arena, it's the defending champions who lead 20-15 in the Hungry Jacks NBL. 20-15. So we get courtside to Jock Landale. Jock, how did you see the opening quarter?
Look, there's a lot of guard play right now. I'd like to see it go into the bigs a little more. I think Tassie's been on the rim a lot, which is working well for them, and they're playing like they've got nothing to lose. But Melbourne's been kind of shooting it from outside a bit, and whilst it's working, I think we need to see Joe get a few more touches and let that ball go inside.
Well, Jock, you mentioned Joe, and we spoke about him pre-game. We thought they'd make him a bit more of a focus in that first quarter. What do you think Dean has said in this quarter time? He had no touches, no shots in that first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to make it a focal point in this second. He's getting a trap from the baseline, which is tough to play through. But I think if they can continue to find ways to get him deep seals, maybe from high lows or something like that, he should be right. But they definitely need to get him involved in this second quarter here.
Thank you, John. Jared Weeks into the game to start the second quarter. His last 6 games against Melbourne have been scoreless. McDaniel with a foot inside the line. This is everything.
I want to talk about Joe Lual-Chul in the offensive end. What I love from Kyle McIntosh, his first possession, he just took it at Joe Lual-Chul. Big fella will be knowing that he's struggling to get a look with the way they're trying to defend him on the offensive end. McIntosh not letting him have any breaks. He's going to go at him. Yes, Joe blocked it, but this is a chance to really try and win a little bit of an early mind battle against one of the MVP finalists.
Down to Matty Garrick. Matty, you were taking a listen to Scott Roth at quarter time.
Yes, I was, and basically the first message that he said to his team was they're just too slack in their turnovers. They've had too many early turnovers and just sloppy play. So he wants them to move the ball to the second side off the back of what Jock said. They're best when they're attacking the ring, either getting to the foul line or getting those cheapies under the basket. And then in defense, he just preached to shut it down one stop at a time.
Nice finish there from Bairstow. Thank you, Matty.
Yeah, it's a good point about the turnovers. Both teams, really 11 combined turnovers, some early nerves in that first quarter.
Lual-Chul took it upstairs.
A little put back the possession before, got him on the board, and that's what he's going to do down low. See the substitutions ready to come in for Scott Roth.
Bairstow's pass, a little hard to handle for Steindl. Newly downhill. There's Barlow. Not that time either.
It's a great idea. Good read from Clint Steindl. Just a bit of a Yorker. Straight at the ankles.
Steindl's pass a little sloppy. Weeks had space to fire. Dellavedova put it out in front of Bubba, who went and got it. Doesn't finish. Lual-Chul trying to clean up the mess. Too big, too tall, too strong.
Getting after it, Joe Lual-Chul.
Melbourne only give up 80 points a game.
On the flip side, Scott Roth would have just a calming timeout, no doubt, just to remind his guys what they're all about. Okay, that's the heat out of the first part of the game gone. Let's settle into what we do well.
Josh Adams back into the game. Jet is fouled.
I know the JackJumpers, they're going to rely a lot on their starters. You know, Josh Magette, Josh Adams, Jack McVeigh. United are going to keep rotating guys. They're going to try and keep everybody fresh. United were the only team this season not to have anyone average over 30 minutes per game. Closest they had was Golding with 28.5. So a lot of the load will come down to Adams, Magette, and McVeigh. That's how they've been successful all year long with that model. When everyone else chips in, plays their role, star in your role, that's been the story of the JackJumper success.
Adams got it.
Well, that's where his role lies. Josh Adams, they need that electric punch at the offensive end, and when he's knocking it in from long range, he becomes tough to guard.
There's 5 points on 2 of 5. Brings it back to a 7-point deficit. Golding scoreless from a couple of attempts in the first quarter. Shot clock's down to 4. Golding up top. This time it drops. first bucket of the night, and it's out to 10. Midway through this second quarter, nice take, McDaniel, straight at Golding. Golding to respond at the other end. Jack White climbs high and is fouled.
Jack White is a bit of an X factor in this series for me. We've spoken about the 2 wins that the JackJumpers have had over Melbourne. So they've had a bit of success over the team that finished top of the table. Chris Golding gets himself on the board a couple of possessions ago. They haven't beaten a Melbourne United with Jack White in the lineup yet. He's just an out-and-out winner, makes winning plays, and you can see they're winning an extra possession for his team.
Averaged 9.5 points a game and 6 rebounds last year, and the same this season. The difference is he's coming back from an Achilles and he's come back in tremendous style. He once again part of Melbourne's starting lineup. Bubba off target. Melbourne 5 of 14 from outside. Tasmania just 1 of 6. Krislovic had Majet, who got away from Illy and finishes.
Just trying to get a little bit of contact, Josh Majet. He's done that really well all season long. He knows that players are going to fight over him on the defensive end. If he just puts the brakes on, normally someone runs into him. He'll give and go. While Chul and Shea Lee doesn't get to go.
Majet pulling up. This is out. 29-23 at John Cain Arena. Golding feeds Luala Chul. He's fired up in this second quarter. That doesn't go. There's Jack White doing Jack White things. Illy back through Luala Chul. This time guarded by Krislovic.
Getting him plenty of looks down low now in this second quarter. As we mentioned, didn't have a field goal attempted in the first. He's already got 6 points, 5 rebounds in this second.
The Jet, long way from the cup. Shot clock at 7. Had McVeigh, little floater with the left hand. Fell back into the waiting arms. No good that time. And then a foul from the JackJumpers. Down to Matty courtside.
We saw Chris Golding getting himself on the board there. We know how dangerous he is from the three-point line. We can't have him lining him up if we wear the JackJumpers. So we saw straight away Scott Roth turning to the bench and getting Matt Kenyon on to put the clamps on Golding to make sure he doesn't go off in this quarter.
Ball tried to blow up that action. A little deflection. Melbourne take it the other way.
Big man getting to work and gets it to roll.
That's your point on that, Shaylee. And yes, they're going to have the scout of, as you said, of Matt Kenyon, but a lot of that isn't instructed. It's just in the back of Shaylee's mind. That's what he's such a great defender, that he's just going to make those reads and back himself to make a play.
Krislovic at the foul line.
There's a potential another one. Jack McVeigh has Delhi on his back deep enough where if he gets it, he's just going to be able to turn around and shoot. I think he's got to be getting that ball. Got 11 points, hasn't scored since half.
Scored the last 7 points in the game, Tasmania.
It's been how to get easier looks. It's going to be hard to do against Melbourne United's defense, but a lot of them setting screens. Where can they see the success? Certain matchups to hunt and go at. They're going to look back at the the film and see those possessions they've missed of Jack McVeigh and thinking, look, he's the one who's on fire for us. Why are we not getting him involved?
Numbers against Josh Adams. He doesn't mind. Porty says, no, sir.
We may have a puncher in that ball.
And then he runs the lane, rewarded at the other end with a dunk.
The elite talent of Ariel Hook-Porty on display. Volleyball spike of a block down one end. And a thunderous finish down the other.
50-38. Biggest lead of the game for Melbourne right now. There's Hook-Porty with the rebound. Momentum with the home team. And the next star with his back to the basket. Back up top for Bubba. Shot clock at 7. Dellavedova bumped by Krislovic.
Well, let's have another look at this from Hook-Porty. Just times it perfectly, punches the ball. Probably put a puncher in it. Sizes it up and then just puts the jets on. Eyes always on Delhi running down the floor. Got one of those in pre-season. I haven't seen it again until now, but as soon as his job's done on one end, the way he runs the lane is exceptional.
He'll learn, Pete, the X's and O's and all that sort of stuff, but there's a competitor within this young man that you can't teach.
Well, there is, and just as we mentioned, his improvement throughout the whole year under the system with Dean Vickerman, and the fact that he's coming back for another season, you'd think that there might be a potential if Joe Lyle moves on to bigger and better things. Could be in a starting role.
You'd love to see it.
That's going to be an offensive foul. Easy call. Mason Peatling not quite set.
4:16 to play in the third quarter. Let's get to Matty courtside.
Now, just looking at another rotation from Scott Roth. We talked earlier about him putting Kenyon on Goulding as soon as he got hot at the three-point line. He just put McIntosh back into the game. He hasn't seen much today because he's been on 3 fouls, but he's gone directly onto Hook Porter, who just got it done both ends of the floor and is now presenting as a threat for the JackJumpers.
10 minutes in the game. Matty, Mikhail McIntosh, averaging 17 across the season. McVeigh picks up his dribble.
This is what we've been talking about with Melbourne United all year. Their ability to crank things up defensively and squeeze the life out of your execution. Tasmania have been so good moving the ball, getting through their stuff, and right now finding everything really tough.
McVeigh can't finish off. They've only scored 2 points in this third quarter. Bubba, athletic finish. It's getting away from the JackJumpers.
Well, they are. But you mentioned it, they are clamping down on the defense, man. Every single shot is a tough one.
Every catch, every cut.
Steindl.
Even that is a tough make. Porty's second effort where he got bumped off. He was guarding McIntosh. He left to go to Clint Steindl just to contest it. Wall up, make that a tougher shot for Clint Steindl.
Breaks a run of 11 straight points for Melbourne. Off the back of that bucket from Steindl. Josh Magette didn't think that was off him. We've managed to get through pretty much the entire season with Josh Magette not thinking that anything ever came off his hand.
That's the majority of players.
He's been a fantastic signing for Tasmania. Not too pleased with that one, though. From the inbound. Lyle Chul. A little uncomfortable.
I have an illegal screen on Jay. So do you have him grabbing him first? I had him grabbing first. Okay, no problem. All good.
White 30. Oh, bonus.
So that was originally between the referees having a conversation saying it was going to be an illegal screen on Lyle Chul. The referee came across and said that he saw the hand of Sam McDaniel, just the left arm, pull him down and into it. So that's why the referee, that's why they communicate, coming together.
Yeah, it's a good job talking it through from the officials. McDaniel, if he hadn't wrapped his arm around him, he would have got the call. Joe Lyle was still moving, but the initial contact came from McDaniel.
2.
And he picks up the foul.
Well spoken through because the one referee couldn't see. The other one said, look, I saw that left arm come across. Sends Joe Lyle to the line. Has he in the bonus?
Just letting everyone know about it as well. "13 points, 5 rebounds for Joe Lawala-Chul. There's the quarter-by-quarter breakdowns, and there's the offensive struggles, Pete, for Tassie in this third quarter.
Well, we've highlighted all season long defense of United, and I think a lot of people expected it to go up another level in the finals, and it has done just that. But just to see, that's just a little bit too overzealous, but for Bubba to arrive on the catch and contest that after fighting through the screens, I think Vickerman just talking to someone on the bench thinking about do we challenge on. It looked pretty clear cut. Just fell underneath him at the last second. But they're playing the way that they want, as you said, Liam. The people they want to disrupt on every catch, they're arriving on the catch. They're being physical. Those that may be playing a step off, they're helping. They're jumping in lanes. We talked about the Shea Ili one where he left Matt Kenyon for a little bit.
guys. Here we go. Come on, fellas.
And Steindl. Averaging 9.5 points a game. It's the best of any regular season for Clint Steindl. As the JackJumpers captain has really stepped up, led from the front all season long.
Yeah, he's been huge for him, on and off the floor. And his punch off the bench is key. They run so much action for him, like that last play when he's out there on the floor. And he's got all that championship and finals experience, his 5th straight year in the playoffs.
Only 1 field goal attempt. Is there a way to get him more involved in this one?
Well, that'll be a focus for him in his last 3 minutes of this 3rd quarter. They'll be running him off plenty of those staggered screens off the ball and trying to get him some more looks.
I don't mind this from Tasmania, just throwing a bit of pressure up the floor, not necessarily to look for a steal against Melbourne United, but to make them start their offense late. They started this possession with 16 seconds to go on the shot clock. And they forced that from Caleb Agata. Yes, he scores, but that's a tough bucket. You've thrown a different look at them. If they have to rely on that for the next 12.5 minutes, could be in for some exciting finish.
Agata, the second Melbourne player, into double figures and the 3rd in the game. While Achul, the leading scorer with 13. McIntosh pulling up. Melbourne will live with that.
Oh, man, they're better than that, the JackJumpers. He needs to get on the attack.
Agata travels. 13-point lead. Biggest lead in the game has been 14. Unfortunately for Tassie, the numbers don't lie when it comes to final quarters for them as well. They are dead last in the competition in 4th quarter points. They're going to have to buck that trend to lock away game 1 ahead of Saturday night. Sold out MyState Bank Arena for game 2 in Tasmania.
It's a good look for Sam McDaniel. That's where he likes to operate in the mid-range. Just got to knock that one down. Trying to steady this ship once again, going into 3-quarter time.
Peepling blocked.
Oh my.
Clint Steindl.
Clint Steindl with a straight vert. Seen him get a couple of dunks this season, but off the standing start.
That's a big-time defensive play. They need those kind of plays right now to just stay in this thing. Down the other end, Melbourne keeping the ball out of the hands of the key guys. Keeping it out of Josh Majet's hand, out of Clint Steindl's hands. Making McIntosh and McDaniel have to make plays.
See Mason Peatling there now with 4 fouls. That's why we haven't seen a lot of him tonight. Josh Adams, 4 of 11 from the field. Agata, handoff for Achul.
Well, they had 2 guys down behind play. Did the JackJumpers. Achul, after no field goal attempts in the 1st quarter, leads all scorers with 15 points. And as you mentioned, Liam, keeping it out of the guys' hands they don't want. Josh Majet's only had 3 field goals attempted in this game. Just doing it by committee, and it's not just one guy, as you mentioned. Villanova, Agata, Bubba, Shea Illy, everyone's rotating through. There's no breath for Josh Majet or Josh Adams tonight.
And he's the head of the snake, Josh Majet. 5 points, 3 assists. As you say, not many field goal attempts. They're making his 2nd catch in the offensive set really tough to get.
And this is what I spoke about at the start. This is the defensive death lineup from Melbourne United they've got out there. Jack White, Joe Achul anchoring down low. Shot blockers like that. You got Shea Illy, Agata, Bubba, and then you can exchange one of those with Delhi. Good luck scoring.
They can't score. It's impossible to score out there at the moment. A couple of seconds on the shot clock for them.
Screen's fine. Screen is fine. 51.
The foul's going to be called on Illy.
Screen's fine, then you grab him.
Which gives Melbourne a fresh 14 to work with. Biggest lead in the game right now. In the shadows of 3-quarter time. It's been a big move by the defending champions. McIntosh in the paint against Lawala Chul. Doesn't get it to go.
All of 7 now for McIntosh. Trying to battle against JLA. Got to his spot, just didn't finish. As Caleb Garda just bullies. And that's going to be a delay of game warning.
They already had one.
That's going to be a tech.
Black 7, technical, 1 in possession.
Delay of game from earlier. Number 2 results in a technical foul.
Just flexing a bit of muscle in this third quarter.
Let's get down to Jenny Screen, courtside.
I know the scoring power from Melbourne United normally comes from the likes of Chris Golding, but I've got to talk to you about the likes of Hukporti and obviously Agata. I think their injection in this third quarter has absolutely been immense, and the reason why we're seeing the momentum swing, you can see Melbourne United just showing their experience right now. But gentlemen, I've got a question for you. How important is it to win game 1, just from a psychological point of view?
Well, it's massive, Jen, as you know. I mean, there's the psychology of it, but there's also just the numbers. 26 of the past 28 NBL final series have been claimed by the team who took victory in game 1. So it's not impossible to fight back, but it's very, very tough to do.
Steindl, shot clock at 6. He's short. Agata on the move, late in the third quarter, finishes off with a left hand. He's had a night. Big third quarter from Melbourne United.
16 from the field, and their lowest scoring quarter in their last 25 games.
It's a good start. The Jack Jumpers there. The Jet forcing the turnover, but did they what? They absolutely locked up on the defensive end.
The Jet, amongst others, need to try and get going, and they need to do it quickly. Here's Adams.
And this is what we spoke about, this defensive death lineup. They had, everybody was switching to help each other out. Joe Lawala-Chul was on an island against one of the guards. Everybody loaded up behind him to help. And then just when you see there, it might look like Bubba's been beat. Shea Ili puts his body on the line. Jack White is in there as well.
The thing is, you look at this lineup, you could throw Daly into that mix.
Absolutely.
Happily. You could throw Hukporti, 6th in the league in block shots. They've just got so much depth of talent at that end of the floor.
Tasmania 2 of 16 from the field in the third quarter. Only 7 points, 5 of them coming from Clint Steindl. Game 2, Saturday night in Tasmania. Game 3, if required, there's 2 more for Agata. It's Monday back at John Cain Arena. Caleb Agata now has 16 points. Daniel blocked. Joe Lawala-Chul, not that time. There's Bubba high off the window. It's party time at John Cain Arena.
That wasn't English, that was Japanese. Off the glass right there. What a finish.
Well, he had the lob for Jack White as well. Didn't need it. Just a block from Lawala-Chul. He's got 3 of them on the night. Then they're out on the break. Take your pick.
McIntosh, 0 of 7 from the field. It's a nice move baseline and nice touch with the left hand.
And that's what he needs to do. Put it on the deck, attack the rim, use his physicality. Last time he did that, he didn't finish, but it's better than hoisting from long range. And there, called for the foul on Joe Lawala-Chul. Just bodying up at the defensive end.
Let's get down to Matty Garrett, courtside.
Listening to Scott Roth at three-quarter time there, he said that he wanted his team to have more movement. They wanted to go back to that high double on-ball screen. There's too much one-on-one happening at the moment, and he said that in the first 2 to 3 minutes, they can break back into the game, but they needed to solve the problems. And we just saw that their team didn't execute in the first couple of possessions, and this is why they're trailing at the moment. So they want to be able to get stops on defense and then see if they can move the ball and spacing on offense.
Well, we just see it a little bit. It's the anxiousness across with some frustration of how hard every single opportunity has been on this end, and just guys trying to break it open. That's a good look for Clint Steiner, who gets fouled second time tonight from Caleb Agata. But that's just going to be building up, especially from the third quarter, of what can we do on the offensive end. And that's when you get the likes of Majette Adams just trying to make plays happen, and one-on-one against United's defense is just going to be too tough. And looks like they caught him with the feet down low. Now, you see this a lot throughout a few players in the league of trying to foul them with potential feet follow-throughs. It's hard. The way that Clint Steiner was turning into it with his feet.
And he just gets a lot of elevation as well, Clint Steiner. You know, and Caleb Agata's got to get close enough so that he can get high enough on the contest to have an impact on Steiner's release, and he's slipping underneath.
And as the feet go out with that high elevation, we see it with Bryce Cotton. Doesn't kick the feet out, it's just the way that he gets into his shot. Chris Golding does it as well, especially curling off screens. That's the way that they shoot. It's not that they're kicking their legs out, it's just the elevation, their rhythm. So you have to be extra cautious when trying to make that late contest, because that was a semi-good look. And one of the more open looks that Clint Steiner and the JackJumpers have had. You arrive just a second late, and you send him to the free throw line.
A couple of minutes played in the final quarter. Bubba from the corner. Takes the advantage of Josh Adams. Get a good look at him cutting to the basket this time. Always that presence, though, of Luala Chul, making life difficult.
That's a foul. Clint Steiner just bumping the cutter. We saw one of them called early on. McIntosh drew a foul on Hook Porty.
The JackJumpers have been doing this all season. Look on the left of your screen, the little bump from Steiner. They call it an hello. They chart them amongst their group. They want 25 hellos over the course of the game. Bumps, bruises. We talk, you know, coaches always talk about make them feel us. Well, Scott Ross tells his group, say hello.
Watches on some thinking for Tasmania ahead of game two, some adjustments to make ahead of game two. They're certainly not out of it. They've been a formidable team on their home floor this season. Adams open for three.
Had to knock it down.
They flexed their muscle in game one. And they've blown Tasmania away, and they've blown them across the Tasman ahead of game two.
Well, they have. Sets up a big game two, though. Tasmania just held strong at the end, and more handshakes in the semi-finals here. See each other in 48 hours.
Tasmania win the last quarter, but it was that third quarter, 21-7, that set the whole thing up.
Championship quarter, and they played championship level defense in that term. Melbourne United, it's what they have built their success off this year, and it was on full display as they took control in that third term.
So both teams will get in their respective huddles. Let's take a little look at this one. Scott Roth and Joe Luala Chul.
Just giving respect to each other. Both had fantastic regular seasons.